Today on Artifactually Speaking, the Queen of the Night. I'm Dr. Brad Hafford, archaeologist at the University of Pennsylvania, and I'm here in the gateway between the Ishtar Temple and the Ninurta Temple at the ancient city of Nimrud in northern Iraq. Now, I'm here because I want to talk about a particular artifact that we found last year. And it's a very nice late afternoon, but we've got lots of gnats or midges around, so you'll see them flying around. But we have a conservator this year, and he has put this back together. We found it in fragments last year, and we found it right here, spread across the gateway at various levels, not far above the surface. So a few fragments kind of up above this inscribed slab, and then a few more out farther into the courtyard for Ninurta. We could see that there was high relief on it, and it's a very interesting design. It's made of frit or faience. I've talked about it before on the channel. It's not quite glass, it's not quite clay. It's heated to where it starts possibly to vitrify. It's got quite a chemical composition. It had been made for a very long time in Egypt. At this time, where we are now, this was destroyed in 612 BCE, they are making true glass, but they're still making this material as well. It's a very good material for making things like this, probably a wall plaque, though some have said it may have been on the garment of a statue. I don't really see that. I think it really is a wall plaque, and there's even a hole in the lower corner here, another portion of one over here, and of course there would have been two up here. We're still missing a large portion of it. We've only got the legs and the lower wings of this figure. But that's enough to tell us something about it. It is of an unusual depiction. The most famous version that is complete of what we think this figure is called the Burney relief. And Burney was just the antiquaries dealer who had it back in the 1920s, 30s, something like this. It had been shown to the British Museum, and they were worried about its authenticity, so they didn't buy it at that time. Much later, they did buy it for something like 1.5 million pounds. But they decided that one was Old Babylonian, rather. And it's possible. It's made of clay, and it shows this figure and complete. So it's a woman with a crown of horns, which means that she's a deity. And it's often called Ishtar, but Ishtar with wings, a little bit unusual. And on the Burney relief, she's actually got claws instead of feet, so she's partially a bird. She's also standing on lions in that one, and lions are often associated with Ishtar, and so would the horned crown be. So it does appear to be a deity, but many people have suggested this is actually a demon. The demon that is later called Lilith, maybe Lamashtu in this period. And if that's true, why would it be on a plaque here in the Ishtar Temple? And in fact, this isn't the only one. Muzakkar Hussain, when he was digging here 2000, 2001, he found two of these, and he found the upper portions. They don't look like they match exactly with this, but it shows that this was a popular relief in this temple. And in the versions that do show her head, it's not quite a horned crown in these. It's kind of squared off, but it has two what look like crescent moons. Now, maybe those are meant to be horns. It's not the standard one that we see, but I think that this probably is a deity, and maybe it's a representation, an aspect of Ishtar herself, because they're common right here in this temple. Austin Henry Layard also found one of the upper portions, but he just says in the temple complex. So it could have been in Ninurta, it might have been here in Ishtar, but this many of them, it's really an important thing. The wings, this is a four-winged figure, and it seems unusual that would be associated with an underworld deity, and yet it seems to be. The Burney relief is sometimes called Queen of the Night, because it also has owls, and it looks like the back was probably painted black. So it seems to have sort of underworld connotations. And there is the legend of Inanna and Dumuzi, when she had to go into the underworld to get Dumuzi out. And in order to do that, she had to give up her jewelry and at each gate as she went down into the underworld. And this figure is wearing like anklets down here. It's really well formed. And she's standing on a pedestal of some sort. Because of that association with Inanna and Dumuzi, the legend says that she went into the underworld and she met Ereshkigal, who is called her sister there, sort of the opposite, the other version of Ishtar, I guess, the darker version. And maybe that's what this is. We still don't really know what Sharat Nephi means, and we know we're in the Sharat Nephi temple. That's an aspect of Ishtar. Could that be something to do with this kind of imagery? We don't really know, but it's pretty fascinating, and this is a wonderful object. I do wish we had the upper portion, but at least we have those other representations, and we know what it would have looked like in the whole. And found right here in the gateway, that had to be important. This is the one that moves towards Ninurta, who was the chief deity of Nimrud, the war god, but Ishtar is a war goddess, so they're kind of connected, and Assyria was very warlike, so both of these deities were very important to them, and that's why these two temples are so close together. Well, I hope you enjoyed talking about this plaque and thinking about whether it is Ishtar, and I hope you'll join me again on the next Artifactually Speaking.